Hello and welcome back to my voice. You guys are probably going to notice at some point in this video that it's not completely back to normal, but it's way better than it was. I'm just so grateful that I can be doing any talking at all. Saying that there is a chance that I'll have to cut the talking short in this video, in which case I'll do what I did last week where there'll be silence at the end. Last week's was completely silent, but this time I'll possibly wrap up with some silence if my voice isn't holding out and you guys can just put on some music and enjoy. I get sick now, and when I do, I lose my voice completely, and I haven't found a way to stop the loss of my voice when I get a cold, but I'm looking into it, and if you have any advice, please let me know down below because I will try it. Warning, I absolutely hate honey. It's disgusting. I will not drink it. I will not consume it. I will not rub it on my flesh. So please recommend things that are not honey related. I guess you can recommend things that are honey related, but I will be ignoring those recommendations. I am so glad to be back and talking with you guys, though. I was away for Thanksgiving and then I was sick, so I actually ate into all of my pre-recorded videos, and I had to make this one this week, which is plenty of time to make one of these videos. They don't take too much time. I really enjoy doing them. I love watching these types of videos on YouTube, which is how I started making them. I just put one of these on and I like listening to artists talk and being able to look up and watch them paint every once in a while, oftentimes while I am also working alongside them. So please put anything on that you want to, listen to my voice or listen to something else and watch the video, or do something else while you're listening, whatever floats your boat. I will start talking about this piece in just a second, but really quickly, I did want to say that we are coming to the close of this series. Even though I just said I love it, I need a little bit of a break. Doing a 30-minute video with voiceover every single week is a lot, so I'm going to be doing 10 of these. They will wrap up right at the end of 2019. Don't worry, I have plans for 2020. If my voice is still able, I will talk to you guys about this after I talk about a few other things. But these kinds of videos for right now are ending, or at least for having them come out every single week, they are ending. I will still be posting once a week, at least. I'm hoping I can get into a schedule once I'm doing shorter videos where I can do maybe 2 a week every once in a while. No promises yet, but for after 2019, these videos will be coming out every once in a while versus every single week. Honestly, you probably won't see one for a little bit. I wouldn't get your hopes up on seeing one until maybe late February or March, just because I need a little break from them. I'm still absolutely in love with this color palette that I bought. I still feel like there's lots of exploration I can do. This sketchbook still has tons of pages in it, and my goal would be to fill the entire thing with you guys and record videos doing it. But for right now, I need something different. So that's where I'm at. Now let's get talking about this piece in particular. Please ignore everything else around it on this page as you're looking right now in my sketchbook. I took over a week off from drawing with my sickness. I just didn't have the energy. I couldn't do it. I mostly laid in bed the entire time. I was still going to work because I have no PTO saved up as it is a brand new job, but the page to the left was my first attempts after being away for that long period of time, and I just wasn't happy with any of that. Also, the day before I filmed this was my brother's birthday. I covered up a really bad sketch with a happy birthday post-it note. So That's what you're looking at right there. Anyways, let's talk about these thumbnails really quickly. So I didn't end up painting these thumbnails. Well, I painted the thumbnails, but I didn't do this in my watercolor sketchbook. I ended up, when I had finished it, realizing that I needed something a little bit easier for my first week back after taking such a break. And so that night I kind of stopped after doing all this. I was really struggling with the portrait because it's at an odd angle for me, and I felt like the horse wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. I wanted this to be similar to the crow companion piece that I did. I believe it was my second or third week. I wanted, one side to be an animal, one side to be a portrait, but I just wasn't happy with it afterwards. I took my sketchbook to the side and I sketched some other things off camera, and I really liked how one of them came out. And unfortunately, since I did it off camera, you didn't get to see it. So I do include me sketching the original line sketch in my sketchbook, in my watercolor sketchbook, for you guys to see after I do this. And originally my plan was to cut out this thumbnailing stage, but I decided to leave it in because so I was going to cut it out because I thought it was an idea I would come back to, and it's still something I might one day, but it's not something I'm going to do in these first 10. So if I come back to it, it's going to be a long time from now, and I don't want to hang on to this footage for that long. So if I come back to it, I'll reference this video, but I left it in here because you might never see this again. So very shortly, you'll actually see me starting to sketch the real finished piece that I do this week, but I also struggled with it a little bit. So I had the sketch idea on the side, and when you see it, I originally had like a little speech bubble that had a broken heart in it, but I wanted to get away from that motif because I've been following a lot of hearts and brokenness ideas recently. So I thought, oh, this could be where I bring in that horse idea again. I don't know why, I was really just feeling horses this week. That's actually how I originally started drawing. That's what I thank myself for being an artist now, was I used to draw horses all the time, and that's what I got really good at originally. But the thumbnail just wasn't working. It wasn't turning out how I wanted it to be inside of the speech bubble. I was going to do like this dark silhouette, and it was kind of like she was talking about horses or running horses, or that's all she could think about kind of an idea. But I nixed it when I just couldn't get it quite right, and I didn't want to go back to that broken horse concept again. So I thought for a while, and finally I came up with the idea of Roman numerals, and I think they're so beautiful with their graphic look and everything about them. So I was going to do the Roman numeral 10, which is just, oh no, I wasn't going to do a 10. I was going to do 5. That's the V. I was going to do Roman numeral 5 because I like the look of the V. And then I realized that it just was so plain. So I did 4. Yeah, because one more line really added a lot to it. In my mind, it did. So that's what I did. I knew I wanted this piece to be a lot lighter. I wasn't sure if I was going to have any accents. At the very, very end, I do include gold accents on top of the piece. I'm pretty happy with this piece overall. There are some small changes I would make, like her toga. I wish it was a little bit darker than her hair because they're pretty close in value by the final piece. I also wish that I had planned out the gold a little bit more. There's a few areas that kind of annoy me, and I wish I could change them, but I can't. But those are pretty much it. What I wish I could change, I really like the gold circle above her head. I think that's nice. I like the texture in the background. I like how light the piece is. I always try to push myself to be making darker and darker pieces because I'm afraid that I paint too lightly, and I do paint too lightly. But sometimes it's nice just to not focus on that and just to kind of be easy on yourself a little bit. And that's what this piece was for me. It was just being easy, bringing myself back into the routine of things, back into making videos, back into making art, and just enjoying the process again. I also really like how her hair turned out. I love white hair, and I don't do it very often because I feel like it's a cop-out because it just seems so simple, but it's not, because there is color in it. I mean, I painted certain areas, I lined all of it. So I need to remind myself sometimes that it can look really nice. And I absolutely love doing white hair with kind of a really tan skin. I definitely wouldn't call it dark skin, but maybe like a more of a medium tone versus the lighter tones that I tend to paint. I have been trying to push myself to paint darker skin tones, but sometimes I just forget to do it. And that's why I was going to do that really dark skin tone originally, but it didn't work out how I wanted it to. So maybe next week I can push myself to do another dark skin tone, because I haven't done a really dark one since the first week. I've done another medium one recently, but all the other ones have been light. So I should push myself to try something different. So I am losing my voice. I can feel it going. There are 2 or 3 more things I really quickly wanted to talk about, so I'm going to get to those. One of those being what I'm doing this week, since you haven't had one in 2 weeks, but I am going to briefly talk about some shop updates, my future plans with you guys, my week in review, and then I will be wrapping up this talking part because I am just losing my voice, and hopefully next week I'll be back to 100% health. I'm feeling fine. It's just my voice is gone and I kind of need it. So sorry. Apologies. I know you guys don't hear any difference because I edit it out, but I just got a phone call and lots of things happened and it's like 10 minutes later for me. So I believe I was talking about the 3 things I still need to finish up before I lose my voice completely. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear it now, but I can really hear the rattle in my throat. Anyways, stop wasting time, Amanda. So something really exciting that I am going to be doing is I have an Etsy shop. The link is in the description. I post it every week. I don't talk about it too much because it's not exactly where I want it to be, but I believe I am taking some of the first steps to get it there. So I am creating some mini originals to put up into my shop. That way I can put in some more affordable original artwork that doesn't take too much time on my end, which means that I can get them out to you guys for cheaper. I am currently working on, I believe the size is 3 inches by 2.5 inches. That doesn't actually sound right. Let me measure it really quickly. So I'm actually working on some 4-inch by 3-inch little mini originals. I have a bunch of pieces of watercolor paper that I cut up in order to do this. A bunch, over 30 little pieces. I probably cut up maybe 6 bigger pieces for this. They're all slightly different sizes too. There's some that are 2.5 by 3 inches. There's some that are 3 by 4. There's some that are 2 by 3.5. Anyways, I'm just working on them. I have currently, as I am talking about this video, I have 1 up in my shop. My plan is tomorrow when I post this video to have 2 or 3 up in my shop. I would like to have 5 up by the end of this first week just to have some variation, and then afterwards I'd really like to be able to get 1 up a week for until maybe I get 10 to 15 up. It's fun. I enjoy painting them. The cool thing is if I mess up, I've messed up a very small piece of paper. I came up with this idea because I was looking at my sketchbook for pieces to make prints of, and I just realized I love my thumbnails so much. I think they're really pretty, and I realized if I could just put a little bit more time into them, they could be something I could sell. So I cut up some paper and I made the first one. I timed myself to see how long it would take me. It wasn't too much time. It wasn't cutting into me doing other things. So I posted it on Etsy, I posted it on Instagram. It's gotten so much positive feedback over there. So I think it's something I'm definitely going to keep doing. It's also going to be fun because when I'm doing these, I really want to pull out some of my older watercolor palettes and just really experiment with color. And because it's so small, I can really do that. And the hardest part is I get so attached to them because they're cute and they're like my children in a way. So it's hard for me to sell them, but that was the plan for them all along. So they shall be sold. And then other shop updates. I briefly mentioned that I'm looking to make some prints. I'm going to be offering some mini prints actually. So most of the prints, I actually don't believe I'm offering any prints right now on my Etsy. I wanted to originally have my Etsy be mostly prints of my artwork, but I got a lot of problems along the way, and so it's mostly stickers right now, which I love the stickers. They're great. They somewhat sell. They're cute. I'm ready to get rid of a lot of them and put in some new stickers in replacing them. Okay, that's gibberish. I love my stickers. They are selling, but I had to originally buy them in large quantities because I was buying them from an online place that would make a bunch and ship them to me. So I wanted to have like maybe 10 of each, and I couldn't do that. So I have like 50 to 70 of each. And that means that even though I sell them, it's going to take a long time to sell out of them. And I want to put new stickers up, but I can't bring myself to make more stickers when I have all of these to sell. So the good thing with prints is I can make them on demand. I did end up getting a really nice printer so that I could make my own prints, and I've been experimenting with that and figuring out paper and all that kind of stuff because there's a lot that goes into making prints beyond just having a printer. There's all the editing, well, there's photographing or scanning your work. There's all the editing you have to do to get it to actually look like your work originally looked. There's figuring out what paper you need to print on. There's figuring out how to get your printer to print what the screen looks like. There's then packaging and shipping. That's after you get the listing up on Etsy and get it to look nice, and then marketing it out so people know that you have something for sale. So there's a lot of work that goes into this. I love this kind of stuff. It's great. There are certain steps I wish I could skip, but overall it's really good. So I'm looking to put mini prints on my shop. That's where I'm coming back to. My idea is I got a bunch of business cards and I'm going to print them on there like an artist trading card. It's something I've heard other artists doing. I love it. It's such a cute idea. I'm going to have I'm hoping to have at least 10 designs by the end of this, but as of right now, I'm trying just to get one design up on my shop. The problem is that I'm working with some new templates in some different software than I used to work with templates in, and so I'm having to learn all of that. So the mini original is up in my shop, hoping to have a few more by the time this video is live. The mini prints, which will be very affordable, very affordable, will possibly be up next week. If not, hopefully before then, but if not, next weekend. I'm really hoping to have at least one up on my shop. And if you're hoping to follow all of this, I am very active on my Instagram. That's where I post a lot about what's coming into my Etsy, so you can check there for anything. I have it linked down below. Anyways, that's it on the shop updates. Whew. Okay, let's get to the next thing before my voice completely goes. So, future plans for this YouTube channel. As I've said multiple times on here, my plan is to do 10 of these and then to do something different. So after these 10 in January, I have a plan for a short mini series that I'll be doing that will take all of January. It should be 3 to 4 videos long if I do it correctly. And I'm really hoping that along with those videos, I can do some speed paints for you guys on the side. Maybe I can record some of my mini original pieces that I'm working on and get those up in a shorter timeline, in a shorter video. You know, I'm hoping to make my videos about 10 minutes long, but maybe mini originals can be even shorter than that. We'll see. So that is the plan for January, and then, you know, I'll definitely be sick and tired of doing that mini series. So I'll be probably February, March will be unseriesed. So it's just going to be every week you come in and you see what the video is. I'm really hoping to make them all speed paints or sketching videos. That would be the dream. And then hopefully I can do another series in March. We'll see. I don't have March planned out, but that would be the long-term goal. I am definitely excited about the mini-series in January. It's going to be something a little bit different. It's still art-related, but it's not a speed paint. And that's where I'm going to leave that at. So let me really quickly tell you what my week is looking like. In case you're new to these videos, I like to wrap up all of my sketch and chat videos with what I'm doing this week. So that means what I am watching, what I am reading, and what I am listening to. So what am I watching? I actually went back to Peaky Blinders. If you've been watching this series, you know that I stopped after half an episode because I wanted to watch something funny, and this definitely wasn't funny. I went back. I'm almost finished with season 1, and I'm enjoying it. I definitely will be continuing to watch the TV show. It's not my favorite thing in the entire world, but it's good enough to continue and hopefully finish. I think there's like 5 or 6 seasons, but there's only like 6 episodes in each season, so it won't take me too long. I'll probably still be watching it this time next week though, so you might be hearing about it again next week. What am I reading? I am currently reading, I'm almost done with it, so it's definitely going to be a different book next week. The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek. If you watch Good Mythical Morning or anything related to Rhett and Link on YouTube or their podcast or anything like that, that is their book that they just wrote. It's their horror humor book about, it's not about their childhood, but it kind of is about their childhood. It's really good. I highly recommend it. I'm really enjoying it. I have less than 100 pages left, so I'm going to be finishing it up soon. I used to never, ever do anything horror related. I'm a huge wimp. I can't watch horror films. Don't show me horror TV shows. Don't take me to haunted houses. Don't even like jump scare at me. I used to only pretty much read YA or fantasy. Actually, for years, all I read was YA fantasy. And then I found out that there was other fantasy beyond YA fantasy, and that's pretty much 90% of what I read now. And then for class one day, I had to read The Shining by Stephen King, and I really, really enjoyed it. And so I actually, a few months after that, I found The Outsider by Stephen King, and I liked that, honestly, a little bit more than The Shining. There's just this kind of paranormal weirdness that, I don't know, it's more mysterious than The Shining was. The Shining was like paranormal insanity mystery, whereas The Outsider was like paranormal mystery. And it was very good. It was more of a detective novel, and that's why I liked it. I love crime, detective, all that kind of stuff. So after doing that, I knew that I wanted to try out a few more horror-like books. I'm so scared that it's going to actually scare me, but I haven't been scared yet. I think maybe it's because they're more psychological. I don't know. This book reminds me a little bit of Stephen King, though. Like, definitely not as wordy. It's only like 320 pages, which is very nice. It's a bite-sizable book, but it just reminds me of his. It's got some paranormal stuff. It's got this mystery. It's got this kind of conservative town. It's very enjoyable. I recommend it. I'm having a blast reading it. I honestly am kind of sad to see it finish, but I own it so I can read it anytime I want to. And then what am I listening to this week? So actually, this is going to sound like I have an obsession. I might. I haven't been listening to too much music. I started listening to podcasts this week, something I've never done before. And I had a friend a few months ago have me sit down and listen to Welcome to Night Vale. That's not what I'm doing this week. I really enjoyed it. I've heard about it for years. I've just never gotten into it because I guess I've never really gotten into podcasts. And so I decided that I would try out Rhett and Link's, that's why I have the obsession comment, podcast Ear Biscuits. And so I tried their newest episode, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I went back to their old episodes, and I skipped all the episodes where they interviewed people, and I'm only listening to the ones where it's just the two of them. And I've listened to 2 or 3 now, and I'm really, actually, have I listened to more than that? I might have listened to 5. I'm really enjoying it, and they're about an hour long, so it's kind of nice. I can listen to them at work because I don't really need to focus on it too much. And it's something nice to do because I'm at the end of the year. I'm caught up on my reading goal for the year. Once I finish Bleak Creek, I have one more book I need to read to get 100 books read in 2019. If you're more curious about my reading stuff, I did make a second channel called Mandolin Reeds. It's the same exact as this channel, except instead of art, it's reads. So I will try not to talk about that stuff too much here, but it is a big part of my life. I read a lot. And so instead of listening to an audiobook currently, I've been listening to podcasts. I am going to, as soon as I finish The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek, I'm going to go right back to the audiobook that I was in the middle of and finish that up. And once that's done, I'm going to go back to podcasts until the end of the year. And then it's going to be 2020, and I'm going to start a new reading challenge, and it's going to be exciting and fun. So there's not too much left in this video. I wish I could recommend a song that you could listen to while finishing it up, but this week is all about podcasts. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you don't mind the silence too much at the end. Put on some of your own music and jam out. I'll be excited to talk to you guys next week. I hope you have a good week. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting me in this way. I really appreciate it. And goodbye.